Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the MXPTV MotoXAddicts Motocross Roundtable Show. This is pretty much it's basically a big bench race conversation that we do every week now. Talk about the previous national, which now is Hangtown, and coming up with Thunder Valley this weekend in our Thunder Valley edition here on the Motocross Roundtable. Here with us today, we have the MotoXAddicts crew of Dan Lamb here. So say hello, Dan.
How's it going, guys?
And then we got Chase here as well. So hello, Chase.
What's up, guys?
Yep. So we have the crew there. Matt Rice, who was in our show last week, usually part of our crew here. He's on the road actually to Colorado for the Thunder Valley National this weekend. So
hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Motocross Roundtable Show. This is
I'm putting some audio here, or somebody was. There we go. Okay, I heard a bunch of audio there, so no worries. Anyways, yeah, Matt Rice is usually part of us. He's the photographer for MXPTV. Like I say, he's on the road to Colorado, so we're gonna get him. Hopefully, he'll join in the show later, as soon as he gets to his hotel, probably. So we'll see. But we're gonna talk about Hangtown 450, 250 classes. Some great racing. I'm sure a tense track, definitely. Dan was actually at the race, so we can say that. He'll give us a lot of insight as far as being there and seeing what the action was. So we're going to dive right into we're going to go 250 because I think we got to talk about we have to talk about Yamaha. If we don't, then we're really out of our minds. So the Yamaha crew definitely stepping up with the podium sweep first time, and I'm sure it's probably been a very long time since the Yamahas have swept the podium from a national. So we're going to go right to Dan, who was there at Hangtown. I mean, talk about the Yamaha's dominance at Hangtown. I mean, just impressive what they've done.
It's just what it is. I mean, it's pure dominance, and I mean, from the dropping. First of all, Jeremy Martin's now led every single lap of every single moto this year. So, any doubt in the minds of anybody looking at Jeremy, it's got to be swept away. Especially now. I mean, I picked Baggett going into Hangtown, and while Baggett did. I mean, late in the motos, Baggett did kind of do his thing where he was going fast and clocking times. But even at that point, I think I saw at one point about the 20-minute mark, Baggett was running like 206s, 206.5. But then I looked up, which was faster than anybody on the track. But then I look up and Jeremy's still running like 206.2. So he's still pulling away while Baggett's trying to come from the middle of the pack and doing his late race Hangtown deal that he does. But yeah, I mean, overall, Jeremy was just, I mean, he's vicious. He gets the starts. He's got everything just clicking for him right now. He has the starts. Bike setup is obviously awesome. I didn't see anybody's bike looking better on the track than his. Cooper is obviously Cooper. He's obviously the second best guy right now. I did talk to him after the race, and it's becoming quite obvious that there's, I don't know if you guys have noticed, but there's definitely a little rivalry there that I think might heat up towards the end of the year. I asked Cooper what it's like for his teammate to be out front, and what it's going to take to catch him. And Cooper was quick to say that, yeah, he's doing great, but I'm right there and I'm going to get him. So I can feel a little, and I talked to Jeremy about the same thing. I could feel like there was a little, I don't know about tension, but they definitely weren't happy about the other people's riding. And as far as the third place guy on the podium, Porcel. Man, I love watching that guy. I'm pumped I got to go there and see him ride this year. I made a mistake of actually telling him in the press conference I was a fan, and he kind of laughed at me. But he looked awesome. It looked like in the second moto, the first moto he didn't get a good start, and he kind of did his thing. But in the second moto, it looked like he made a conscious decision to really just see where he's at. And I think he rode well, and I think he showed that through time he's going to get better, and he might even have something for these kids starting this weekend at Colorado. That's basically my assessment of the top three. And Jeremy, right now, blistering fast, averaging 19 seconds. I tabbed it up last time. 18.85 seconds per moto. He's won each moto by. Cooper Webb's definitely the second fastest guy. And other than Bogle, who was third in the first moto, I think Porcel is, I don't know, I hate to say that right now. Third place guy right now is kind of up in the air, I think, between Bogle and Porcel, but Porcel is third in points right now.
Yeah, I think Purcell's third in points. I think it's really impressive to see the Yamahas up there, definitely. And I mean, and Chase, you saw all the action. I mean, pretty much. I mean, Martin and Webb are going to be the two guys. Hopefully, Purcell will work his way in there more, maybe eat their points lead a little bit. But they have a huge gap over everybody right now. It seems like, and we're 2 rounds in, 4 motos in. So, what do you think about the Yamaha's at least just going away from the 250 field right now, Chase?
Yeah, I mean, Jeremy Martin right now just seems like he's on another level. I mean, almost like a Blake Baggett from a few years ago, except getting good starts. So, like Dan said, averaging about 18 seconds lead to win at every single moto so far this year has just been unreal. So, really impressed by him. Cooper Webb impressed me again this weekend. Him and I believe it was Bogle got into it in the first moto, and Coop actually went down, got up, and was probably a few seconds back and went back and passed him again. So, I mean, really impressed by Cooper Webb as well. So, then Purcell, I think he's finally starting to kind of figure it out again. The first round kind of knocking the rust off, and then, this second moto, I was really impressed with him. Another Oakley bomb for him as well in qualifying. So he's definitely got the speed. I think the year-and-a-half layoff from racing kind of, maybe took a little bit out of him, but he's starting to kind of get that race pace back. And, I think by, maybe the next couple rounds or so, I think he's going to figure it out and start running up a little bit closer to those guys. So just great performance by Yamaha. And, there's not really much else to say. It's just really impressive.
Yeah, it seems like you ride blue, man. You're on a good deal right now. So I mean, props to them for the years they've stuck around, and just been defeated so many times and over the years, and just now, just completely dominating right in middle of the year, but the outdoor startup is really impressive for them. So they definitely with the work they put in these new bikes, especially the 250 being from hearing early in the year, it's a really good bike. Now we're actually seeing it. Up front, upstage right now, so that's amazing what they're doing. And like I said, on the points, they've really jumped the gap over everybody. I mean, the next is 49 points back, so almost a full day motos there. So I mean, it's impressive what they've done, and guys gotta give up to them for sure. So now we're changing colors a little bit. Fourth overall on the day was Justin Hill. I think for Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki, that is got to be something good out of so far at the start of the season, because it's been a very rough one. And Dan, talk about not just Justin's ride, obviously your homeboy there, definitely. I mean, it's awesome seeing him up there as always, and but also I mean, they've had some bumps in the road, big time, definitely starting off the series.
Yeah, I want to know. I don't know what's going on with them. And now, I mean, Baggett had the problem in the second moto, and I mean, Hill looked great. First of all, props to Hill. He looked awesome. Bike looked great in both motos for him. He was on pace. It looked like for a minute he was going to catch Purcell there in the second moto, and he came from like way back. So Hill, I think that was overall Hill's best performance. But as far as the Monster Pro Circuit team, I'm confused. I'm really confused by Baggett at this point. I didn't get to talk to him. I tried to find him after the second moto, but with bad motos, sometimes guys, as you guys know, they're hard to find after the race.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't even know what to say. I'm really confused. But they did have to their credit, they started with 6 riders. They're down to a few, but their bike problems are really an issue. And I know Mitch isn't denying the fact that they're having bike problems, and I heard that he wasn't real upset for Dino for talking about it. He said something like, "Yeah, we're having problems." So credit to him for that. But yeah, they're not that powerhouse right now. I walked around their pits, and usually that's where everybody is after the race, trying to find interviews, and it was pretty bleak. The riders were gone. There was no presser out there. I didn't see that normal Mitch Payton team meeting. They might have had it, but I was maybe at the press conference. But yeah, it just, I don't know. They're having an off year, and obviously I expect them to be back. It's Mitch Payton, but yeah, I don't even know what to say. Justin rode great, and I think he showed a lot.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it's great for him, especially keeping the Cowies up there. I think from what I heard, there was a meeting with Mitch had his team again, so. Kind of Glenn Helen-like, I guess. So that's interesting. Anyways, I think it's going to be it's back to the drawing board again with them, and it's tough. It's again, like we said, they're a powerhouse team. Usually it's the Geico Pro Circuit Battle in the outdoors. That's the way it's been. Now it's a completely different brand, completely different set of riders, and it's just shocking everybody. And I mean, and Chase on TV, there was an interview with Baggett after he DNF'd there. I mean, it seemed like he was kind of okay what happened, but not totally down about it. So I don't know if you saw that on TV, but yeah, I mean, talk about Blake there a little bit as far as what he had to, how his Hangtown kind of went, because usually he does really well there. So yeah, what about Blake? What's up with him?
I mean, I think it really all starts with his starts, really. Just some more bad starts. Had to fight all the way through the pack in the first moto to, I think, 6th. And then second moto, another bad start, and ended up having bike issues. So definitely didn't look super happy, but I was actually expecting him to be a little bit more bummed about it, but he was just kind of chilling there. And like I said on TV, just trying to root his teammate on. And I thought Justin rode great, and I could see him getting up on the podium here soon. I've been pretty impressed with him this season so far, and I really don't think he had that good of starts either. But yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. Most of the time those bikes just rip some. Good. They've got a lot of power, rip some good hole shots, and it's just not happening for him this year.
Well, I mean, Chase, you mentioned Baggett starts, but when has he ever gotten good starts? I mean,
true.
Yeah. I think that maybe. Yeah.
Go ahead.
He's kind of had that eye issue a little bit before. I don't know if that's maybe still affecting him some. I know they were talking about his vision was kind of messed up and was kind of seeing double, and maybe that affects some of his line choices too, because maybe he's not seeing the lines like he normally does. So and then his wrist too. I mean, it's never been the same ever since he broke it at I think A1 last year or whatever. I think it was, or 2 years ago. You never know. I mean, that's kind of my theory, I guess, behind it. I'm not 100% sure, but it's pretty much all I got.
Yeah, I think, I mean, me and Rice kind of go back and forth about it. We talk about it that, grabbing that number 4 number may not have been the best move for him. So kind of fight there a little bit. But besides that, I think, it seemed like kind of, again, not completely bummed out, just kind of just, I either look good for the cameras, but that's one thing. But also just to, gotta realize it's still early in the series, and many things can happen. And yes, he needs to get better starts for sure, because he, the year he won the title, that was through, but you can't gamble on that all the time. So he knows he's got to get those starts. So now getting to 5th overall, Jesse Nelson on the Lucas Oil Red Bull Honda, Troy Lee Honda, that is. Impressive ride, impressive ride for Jesse to see him up there. Supercross was pretty decent for him, but at least seeing him here in Hangtown, it was really good. So, Dan, talk about his speed there. I mean, talk about, what he, how, he was moving off the pack, it looked like at sometimes. So, I mean, talk about Jesse Nelson's ride at Hangtown.
He rode like a beast. I mean, and he looked like comfortable. I mean, his times were, a couple seconds off of Jeremy and Webb, obviously. But as far as the guys around him, he had the speed. I think in the first moto he started. I saw him. I first caught eyes on him. He was something like 13th or 14th, maybe even further back than that. And I believe he finished 7th. And then the second moto was the same thing. I mean, he was way. I mean, he was further back going in the first turn. I don't know what happened. But yeah, he went in the first turn probably like 15th or 20th even outside the points. I think I looked earlier. He checked in somewhere like 14th and then ended up 5th. That's not Jesse Nelson. I mean, we haven't seen that from him. I know he's from somewhere where he rode at Hangtown a lot, so I know it's a very comfortable spot for him, but the kid looked like a beast, and he's by far right now, well, I wouldn't say by far, because Cole Seeley, but at Hangtown he was by far the best Lucas Oil guy. Cole Seeley, his teammate, I guess we'll probably talk about him later too, but he had some really bad issues there. But yeah, and as it sits now, Jesse's 4th in the points, which I think is one of the biggest surprises of the season. It's kind of overshadowed by the fact that the big surprises are Jeremy Martin going 1-1-1-1 and Webb 2-2-2-2. But yeah, you got to put Nelson up there as one of the surprises of the year, sitting 4th in the points.
Yeah, I think there's just such a big shadow that the Yamahas have cast over everybody that's kind of just alienated.
Yeah,
almost so much of the impressive performance that the Yamahas have been doing. So that's no doubt there. But hopefully, with that Lucas Oil team, I mean Cole Seeley. bike issues, I think it was, Dan, on that one with him.
With Cole?
Yeah, with Cole Seal. Yeah, was that bike issues with Cole?
Yeah, you're cutting in and out.
Oh, am I?
You know, it was a bike issue, and then he crashed once as well. Yeah, I don't know exactly what happened with Cole. I was on the track, and I saw that Georgia was I haven't even got a chance to watch the race yet, so I only got what I got from watching live. But I saw Georgia interviewing him over there in the mechanics dirt at some point, so I know he did have some kind of issue up there. But I didn't talk to Cole after the race to find out what it was.
I see. Okay. Yep. Yeah. I think I saw that on TV too as well. I just wasn't sure. So, but also the other teammate kind of not in the moto breath. Didn't qualify for the motos. Any word as far as any of that happening? Because yeah, his name. I don't think his name is results at all. So.
Pre-week crash, I think, was what it was or something. Shane McElrath.
Dude, I don't know what happened with Shane. All I know is that he wasn't there. He wasn't in the top 40 in qualifying. I'm in the press tent, and I heard them announcing him for the consolation race. And then I don't believe he showed up for the consolation race either. So I don't know what the deal with McElrath was this weekend.
I think I saw where he had a crash during the week. Good. I think he had a crash during the week, and then I think he said he was going to give it a shot, and he must have went out there and not felt good. So I think that's what was the deal. So I don't know if he banged his head or what the deal was there, but that's what I heard was a midweek crash.
Gotcha. Okay. Yep.
Yeah, they have him as a did not start in the consolation race. So yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. So yeah, it's something that we don't see back home. We don't see the qualifying practices at home, so it's always tough to see that. So that's good insight there on that. Yeah, because I was wondering too. I'm like, he didn't get the time qualifying and didn't seem to come. Switching gears now to the KTM's. Jason Anderson, Marvin Muskin, 6th and 7th. Not bad rides for them. I mean, Jason Anderson with a 4th in that second moto chase. I think that's a really good ride for Jason.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good ride for him in the second moto. And that's where I expect him to be. I expect him to be top 5 about every moto, especially based off of his great Supercross season. I just like the way he rides, man. He just rides so intense and aggressive. It's awesome to watch. But yeah, impressive ride the second moto. The first moto, I think he lost his front end in a corner and kind of collected Marvin with him. So I think that was kind of his 10th. The reasoning for his 10th and Marvin's 9th in the first motos. And then, Marvin, I think he's looking pretty good. Coming off his knee injury, I still don't think that's 100%. And then, last week he ended up dislocating his shoulder in the practice and, popped it back in and rode with it and still did pretty good. But I think he's still got some little nagging injuries that's kind of holding him back, and hopefully he'll get those kind of healed up in the next few weeks or month, and towards the end of the season hopefully he'll be back up running where he was last year, and at least maybe getting close to the podium. So we'll have to see, I guess. But
yeah, I think that's what we talked about last week too, especially with Marvin, is that he's coming off the injury, out for the entire Supercross season this year, so he's just get back in the swing of things. A 7th is right in the ballpark where he should be looking, I hope. So I think that'll be good. And then rounding out the top 10, you got 3 Geico Hondas, Zach Bell with the 8th, Matt Bisceglia 9th, and Justin Bogle with 10th. Had some good motos there, but a little bit inconsistent. Obviously, Bogle crashing out in the second moto. So, yeah, Dan, talk about the Geico guys. I mean, as far as how they were riding on the track, I mean, obviously Bogle with a wild crash and, with the other guys as well. I mean, talk about the Geico Honda guys and how they've done.
I think Bell is the story of the day. I mean, the kid, he catches a lot of flack. He crashes a lot. He's he checkers of records type kid.
Yep.
But in that first moto, he was blazing fast, and I kept expecting him. The first moto I watched about the first 20 minutes, and then ran back to the tent, do some updating in, and I was expecting to see that he was going to fade back, but he stayed right there. His time stayed consistent all through the race. He had a huge distance back to Baggett, who was 6th at the end of the first moto, and Baggett didn't make any time on him late. So I thought Bell did really well. Second moto, I I mean, 13th. He ended up 8th overall. Bisceglia has been solid. I mean, I think that's Bisceglia.
Bisceglia. I think it's a tough one. Yeah.
I used to race his dad too, so you would think I know. Don, his dad is gnarly and used to race up here and just crush the vet classes up here in the Northwest. But his dad's really fast. Obviously not quite the kid fast, but yeah, he was good. And Bogle was really fast. I mean, the third fastest guy all day. I watched his crash coming down the downhill, and I was really surprised to see him get up. And then I talked to him. Right when he got back to the rig, I ran over there, and his bars were hucked up, and he was just beaten and bruised, but I think he's okay from what he said and from what everybody else said. So, I mean, overall, I think Bogle is still the man over there, and I think he is right now the third fastest guy. You have to say that, but yeah, that crash really hurt him. But Bell, I think, is the story of the day.
Yeah, Bell was definitely, seemed like he was first moto, no doubt, and I think, also to keep in mind as well, Zach Osborne on the Geico Highland team, but he's out with a, I think it was a thumb injury, I think it is, or something with his hand, I think it was. So.
You know when he'll be back?
6 to 8 weeks.
I think that's I was about to say 8 weeks.
Long.
So
okay.
So yeah, I remember posting a press release about that. So I think I think that will be some time for him to come back. But also he's should not forget him, he's on the Geico Honda squad as well. So. For those top 10, and then going through the field, good seeing the big brother Alex Martin. He was up there in that second moto. I'm not sure which moto it was, Chase, but I mean, good to see Alex it up, and a 12th, 13th for 11th sounds like an Alex Martin finish to me. So it's a good ride for him. So talk about Alex there, Chase.
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good ride. I think he was running up quite a bit further in one of the motos, and I'm not sure exactly what happened, but. 12, 13 is pretty solid. I don't know. I don't know how good his bikes are right now. I know whenever I talked to him in Supercross, he kind of mentioned that it seemed like, maybe their engine package, or I don't know if it was him or if it was somebody else that was on the team that was riding the 250s. It seemed kind of like their engine package was maybe down a little bit on power. So I'm not sure how, strong their bikes are right now, but he's on one of those Yamahas, so they seem to be going pretty well. A couple of years ago, Alex Martin was, had some really good finishes. I'd love to see him get back up there again. I think at one of the races, I can't remember, it might have been Millville, where he was running like top. He got a third place in a moto or a fourth place or something, which was awesome to see. So I think he's riding really well. I think that, he can definitely crack into the top 10. A couple of guys that I was really impressed with that was right around that range in the second moto was Jackson Richardson and Dylan Epstein. I thought those guys rode great. 9th for Richardson and 10th for Epstein. That second moto was that was awesome. So those couple of the great rides that I saw on Saturday. So I just want to throw that out there. Quick shout out to them. So great rides, guys.
Yeah, they rode awesome. Let's get those machines up there, non-factory machines up in that mix and in the top 10. It was great for them at Hangtown, no doubt. And seeing Joey Savacci in the mix as well, tall, but I would expect him later on. A rider that's working on, getting healed up from massive amount of injuries he had over the past year or two. So hopefully we'll see him up there as well. So I'm gonna do some shameless shout outs for the Northeast guy, Alex Rookie 23rd. And us are 31st. So I mean, seeing the Northeast guys in there all the way out at Hangtown to see them, even making it in the show, but also trying to battle it up for some points. I think that's key. And Dakota Alex actually got 19th that second moto, so he's got his first points of his pro career so far. So props to them as well. So yes. As far as the 250 class goes, I mean the points. We'll briefly go over that. Obviously, it's Yamaha 1, 2, 3, but again, it's a huge gap. It's such a huge gap back down to like 4th, 5th, 6th. I mean, what are these riders going to have to try to do to make it up? I mean, Dan, talk about what's the 250 point situation looking like for everybody else, if you're not on Yamaha, let's say.
It's looking like if your name's not Martin or Webb, you're in trouble right now.
That's
crazy.
It's
I don't know. I mean, you got to stop. Someone's got to get into Martin's head and Webb as well. Someone has to take it to them. Someone has to decide it's time to stop them. I think right now Porcel is the #1 candidate, or Bogle. But somebody's got to get in there and slow them down, and at least make them believe they can be beat. Because every time, as you guys know, every time they win, it's just worse and worse. As it looks right now, I mean, I was looking at it the other day, and I think Martin. I mean, I guess Webb could stop him, but it looks like he's, on pace to maybe clinch it in his front yard. I know Chase said something about he hates people messing with. You talked to him last year, Millville. He hates people messing with his flowers or something like that at his house there. But if there's something in the championship, they'll be fine.
Nice.
Yeah, he actually, I was surprised. I asked him, I go, like, did you stay at your house? Because it's literally right on the track. And he was like, yeah, I stayed there, all night. And he's like, really, the only thing that kind of got me a little bit was the fireworks and stuff that went off. But I was just shocked. Because it was definitely, there was a ton of people that camping out and stuff.
I think he might clinch there.
Yeah, if he continues the way he's going now, I think there's definitely a shot. Yes. So again, we still have 20 motos left to go here, and plenty of things can happen. But
yeah,
we hit the game every weekend, so I think or every for the next 10 weekends or so. So I think it's going to be interesting to see the 250s. I think it's a Yamaha story there. And with Martin and Webb leading that, that shows they're the riders to focus on for the championship so far, 2 rounds in. But also we're switching gears to another 2 teammates in the 450 class, Ken Roczen, Ryan Dungey. Just they're pulling the similar effect, I think, And Dan, talk about the Red Bull KTM's. I mean, Roczen, Dungey. How do they look at Hangtown? Obviously, they won't. We're up front, the top 2 spots, but how do they look overall?
The same as Martin and Webb. I mean, it was pretty similar, except that Roczen didn't get quite as far away from Dungey as Martin did Webb. Just great starts. Get out front and go. I mean, the first moto, Dungey frustrated. I couldn't believe the way he let Roczen kind of go by there in that option corner there. He could have cut over and he didn't. It seemed like he was going to just follow his teammate and see what happens. And you could see Kenny's just more technically sound, I think. And that track seemed really more technical than it had in the past. I think maybe the choppy braking bumps and all that made it a little more technical. But Roczen seemed to really thrive there this year. A lot more than, I guess not more than last year, because last year he went 1-1 as well in the 250 class. But Dungey didn't seem to be as fast as he was there. But it seems similar to Villopoto, what Villopoto did to Dungey. So I don't know, I'm kind of confused. I'm talking in circles here, but I think it was very similar last year. Roczen looked like Villopoto did last year, and it really made me wonder what they're going to be like. And in the second moto, you could tell that Dungey and Roczen just kind of had that. You could tell from the beginning. You got Mehdi and Barsha got out front, and Roczen was third, and you could just see that they were just 2 guys hanging out, waiting for them to blow each other up, and then they were going to get the lead. I mean, overall, I don't see anybody right now on their playing field. I think the only guy that could stop the Red Bull KTM team right now is probably hunting somewhere in Alaska.
Oh wow, that's crazy. Yeah, it's just insane how they're going at right now, and again pulling a Martin Webb type of effect in the 450s, and they seem to be riding awesome, no doubt about it. I think, and I mean Chase about Rock overall win here, his first 450 outdoors. There's a lot of the back and forth throughout, even coming into Colorado. Chase, what do you think as far as Roczen Dungey battle? You think this could be a similar, rivalry? It's kind of somewhat building with the Yamaha guys at 250 class.
Oh, definitely, for sure. I think these are going to be the top 2 guys pretty much, throughout the whole year. So I think it could maybe get a little heated a little bit later on in the year. So it'd be to see, really, kind of make it a little interesting with Villopoto out. So I mean, it's just good seeing some pretty good racing. With Roczen going 1-1 and Jerry Martin going 1-1. I mean, it kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say like it's kind of a snore fest or whatever with people going 1-1s, but I think Dungey and Roczen will do some pretty good battling throughout the year. And right now, I mean, Jeremy Martin's just gapping people by like 20 seconds. So really, the 250 class hadn't really been that fun to watch it, really up front. But I think the 450's been pretty interesting, especially Glenn Helen, and then Hangtown was a little bit less because Roxon kind of, whenever he got away, he kind of just pulled a little bit of a gap, and I think it was like 7 or 8 seconds, I think, in moto. But I'm looking forward to it. I think Dungey's still got some more in the tank. He's Mr. Consistency. But I think, a little bit later in the season, you'll see maybe a little bit more aggression and intensity from Dungey, especially if Roxon, starts kind of pulling away a little bit like he did at Hangtown, and maybe get him a little fired up, and it should be some good racing, so I'm pumped for it.
Yeah, I think there's just so different personalities. I guess, Roxon's the younger guy, well, just so energetic. How he is around the track, just, definitely a fan favorite. Dungey also a fan favorite as well, a lot more conservative, a lot more, kind of to himself most of the time. So, I mean, we're going to see, it's almost like a clash of personalities kind of going there. So that should be interesting to see, throughout the summer. That's going to be an exciting summer, no doubt. Third overall on the day at Hangtown was Trey Kennard on the Honda. Third in points as well. I mean, Dan, talk about Trey. I mean, it's just amazing to see, coming back off of injuries, and just seems like he gets faster. And now, last year put a full year in last year. This year it just seems like this is the year he's got to step up to the plate and get going. So what do you think about Trey?
Well, he's riding awesome. I mean, he's obviously a step off the top guys. But to add a little bit about the KTM rivalry thing, I think it's going to be a little interesting, too, to see kind of how Roger acts with his 2 riders as the season goes on.
That's true, yeah.
With knowing that Kenny has taken off. I think that's something we should keep an eye on too. And I mean, I don't see Roger sabotaging Kenny, but I also don't see him going out of his way to put the #1 plate on that bike either. So it's gonna be weird.
Yeah, I think they want to see #1 plate on that bike no matter what. So that's gonna be a very interesting job again. The cost usually gets in this positions all the time, so it's probably nothing new to him. But with 2 teammates like that, I think it's gonna be interesting to see how it all goes down. So but definitely KTM.
Yeah, and I mean, I've heard from people too that Roger can, once you're gone, you're gone. He can just be like, hey, later. So, but as far as back on Trey Kennard, I mean, he's obviously right now, I think, the 3rd fastest guy on the track. He's proven that he's two thirds on the box. I think the first moto was, he was where he was at, but the second moto, Trey put on the ride from heck. I was standing next to Timmy Ferry on the start, and I had no idea how into it Timmy gets, because he'd like, no, because Timmy went around the first turn like 15th or something, or Trey went around the turn like 15th, and Timmy he was bummed, and he's running around the track trying to figure out where he was at. But towards the end of the moto, I had tweeted something about James getting the overall with the 5.3, and I didn't think Trey was going to be able to do what he did. But yeah, coming from way back, and the last couple passes he made were pretty impressive. The one on Medi was pretty aggressive. I talked to Medi afterwards, and Medi didn't even really comment on it. He just said Medi had said that he was just done, and he didn't really care.
Oh, wow.
So he said he might have turned down on him too. So yeah, Medi wasn't upset about it, but Trey rode unbelievable, and I think it was definitely the ride of the day. Was Trey Kennard's second moto. Looking at the board here, he checked in 13th after the first lap, so he must have rounded for turn 1 about 18th, and to come all the way back up to finish where he did in 4th was pretty impressive.
Yeah, that's amazing rides from Trey there, no doubt about him. And 4th overall at Hangtown, James Stewart is going to the 5.3 moto there. I mean, Chase, talk about James Stewart's performance at Hangtown.
Second moto definitely looked a lot better. I saw somewhere, and I don't know if it's true or not. How you get all the rumors and stuff going, but I heard that maybe kind of injured his knee a little bit, and I don't know if it's the same one that he kind of hurt during Supercross as well with that crash at Glen Helen with Trey. So I think that was maybe nagging him a little bit. So I don't know. I don't really think he looks super comfortable on his bike. I just don't think his setup looks that great to me. But I expect a lot more from him definitely a little bit later in the season. Second moto definitely looked a lot better. I'm trying to remember. It looked like he was back a little bit in that second moto, and then kind of had a late moto charge and ended up, getting into 3rd, which was awesome to see. So hopefully we see a little bit more of that next few weeks, and hopefully you can inch up closer to the KTMs and give them a little bit of challenge. So we'll just have to see there as well.
Yeah, James is. I mentioned it last week too that his bike, the way he does bike step is probably the pickiest of probably any rider as we've known. I think. Talking to his trainer a couple weeks ago, it was like the bike step is like unbelievable. How perfect that bike feels. Like if you can take a part off the bike and you can change something, he will notice it. If it's something so small, he'll pick it out. So. So that one little thing that might pop in his head, it really affects him for the speed he goes at, no doubt about it.
You think that maybe is why people say he isn't really good at setting up bikes? Maybe he makes too many changes?
It could be that too, yeah. It could be that too. I mean, it's like he can feel that, which is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I jump on any bike, I'm like, it goes, okay, I'm fine, But but a rider who's so attentive to his bike, just so much focus into what what and everything. It's good to know that, I mean, he notices that's a good thing, but is that also a bad thing at the same time? And I think that's definitely a different situation there. So with him, so 5th overall at Hangtown, Justin Barr down to 4.5. There, I mean, Dan, what do you think about the Muscle Milk Honda ride of Barsha at Hangtown?
I don't know. I think he's got to be really frustrated. The first moto was solid. Second moto, though, he started up front. I think, man, he wanted Medi. You guys watched that. He wanted Medi so bad.
Yeah.
And I think he does that a lot where you feel like in Supercross, he had the same situation where it was Brayton in front of him, and he blew himself up trying to get around Brayton, and then ended up fading back to 6 afterwards. And then that's that same race. I forget which one it was, but it was the one where he ended up taking out Roxon down that sweeper. And I think the same thing this time is he gets so mad when he can't get to the lead. And if he would have passed Brayton in that Supercross race, I think he would have got his win this year. But the same way this year, I think if he gets by Medi early in the race, he might have been able to get away. And I don't know that he would have beaten Roxon, because obviously Roxon put a lot of time in on him. But I think it would have been a lot different because he exerted a lot of energy trying to get around Medi that he didn't really necessarily need to. And I think if he learns how to relax a little more, he was really, really in a hurry. But yeah, I think Barsha's got to be frustrated right now. I think the Hondas. I was watching them really, really close, and I'm not really good at checking out setup, but their bikes both bikes look to be working really good. As far as like James was bouncing everywhere, but the Hondas, for me, look to be working good at speed. There was a lot of braking bumps there in that back section where there was a step up. There was huge braking bumps before you go left, and Barsha's bike was just tracking where everybody else was hopping. So, I mean, I don't know. I think Barsha's probably a little frustrated. I heard I couldn't find him after the race. I heard he got out of there quicker than anybody. So, I don't know. I haven't been able to talk to him, but yeah, I think he's frustrated, and I think he's better than where he's finishing.
Yeah, I think so too. I think one thing I could mention too is that it was kind of interesting seeing Barsha and because they were teammates at one point with Geico Honda. Remember back I think Justin's rookie year. So I mean they've known each other for a little bit. I've seen them actually. There was actually a week before the Southwick National. There's a practice there at Southwick, and they were racing each other. And so they know how it is, and. I think even knowing each other that well and stuff, I think they kind of throw that in the fire too a little bit, and knowing Justin pretty well, his focus on winning is he knows he knows he's got to win, and that's what he's got to do, and just seeing Roxon and and Dungey kind of just running away with it lately, that's where the frustration's got to settle in with him, more than anything else I think right now. So I think ride the bike as is, if he's he's got to run that bike the way it is, and he's got to, I don't know, he's just got to put that behind him and try to focus on the wins, because that's what he should be doing. So I think that's a big thing for him. But also 6th overall, moving on down the list a little bit, probably should have been up there the way he's been riding. Weston Pike on the RCH Racing Soaring Eagles, doing just last year at Hangtown rode really well last year as well, and this year better than last year, I think. So Chase, talk about the Pike Express that keeps rolling into town at these nationals. It's pretty impressive how Weston's really doing.
Yeah, it's awesome. I'm pumped for Weston. I really like him a lot. Just in talking with him and his dad and stuff at the races, they're really cool people. They don't really have filters and stuff, which I like. I don't like a robot and stuff. So really cool to see him get this opportunity with RCH Racing. Couple bad starts, I think, for him again. If he could get his starts, dialed in, I really think that he could be running top 5, maybe even a podium. So hopefully he can get some starts going for him here soon. But just great charges through the pack. I mean, it's just awesome watching him, pretty much just bulldog his way to the front. So, really pumped on the way he's riding. And, I think he's really taking this opportunity with RCH and just running with it. So it's great to see, and hopefully he can continue this for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I think so. I think, I mean, Dan, talk about how Weston, seeing him ride there. I mean, how did he look out there as far as, his both motos?
He looked like a factory rider, like eating machine. He was just, I mean, one by one, you had Weimer and Reedy, and one by one, he'd catch him and go by him like they were nothing. But probably the coolest thing was the first moto, watching him go into the first turn like 35th, and he went way inside. If you see first turn pictures, you don't see Weston, and then the second turn picture, you see Weston on the outside of Barsha. So he went from like 35th inside on the first turn, and then way outside before that tabletop. It was just gnarly. And I asked him after the race. He's like, "You gotta do what you gotta do," and I just thought that was a perfect Weston answer. He was 35th and he had to get by people, but I got a picture that I sent out yesterday of him. He's way outside the line. He just finds lines and makes them up as he goes along. And I think that's kind of what Weston is he's just someone that makes do with what he's got and makes the best of it. And now that he's got this ride, I think there's no stopping him. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see him on that team again next year. Unfortunately for Tickle, but I think Weston's going to earn it, and I think we're going to see him on a factory bike for a while now.
So too, I think with his running, I mean, just starting off the Nationals like this is, definitely worth keeping that ride in there. I mean, he's, behind Stewart, he's the next Suzuki out there, so he definitely, there's not many Suzukis behind him after that either, so it's going to be interesting to see, if they keep Weston, which I think, for RC and Carrier, that seems like a solid deal for him to keep him there, and the way he is, and the personality is, and the way he is, I think that's even better. That's probably what they were looking for, so.
And I think Matt, I think also he's going to accept less money than Tickle. I don't know if Tickle, because Tickle is, he was paid to be their top guy while he was there, and now obviously Kenny's coming in, and so I think he's going to have to take Tickle's going to have to take a huge pay cut to stay with that team, and Weston spent money the last 5 years, so if they throw him 100, 200,000, he's going to be really happy. Where for a Tickle, 100, 200,000 isn't going to make him happy. So I think that's a big reason why we'll see Weston on that team.
That's a good point. I mean, interesting how that money works, but I think that's a good point putting across there, definitely. So,
yeah.
Kind of going through the top 10 pretty quick. Jacob Weimer, 7th overall. Metcalf, again, great rides. Just, I mean, him and Kennard getting together in that one moto. Just, ended up going the 6-9 route for 8th overall. Malcolm Stewart throwing down a 10-7 for 9th. I mean, the Troy Lee rider is, doing big things in the 450s like he should. The 2 years in the 250 just seemed like it just kind of, bogged down, things like that. And I think now with 450, and I think it's great for him. And Chase, I mean, seeing him up in the running here in the top 10 has got to be a good thing for him, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and that's pretty much about right where I was picturing Malcolm to be, just based off his last year's performance. He rode great on the 450 last year, and that's probably where he should have been the years before that. Like you said, the 250 just seemed a little too small for him, a little underpowered for how big a guy is. And I've stood next to Malcolm, and he's a pretty big dude. So the 450 definitely suits him well, and he's got a great team behind him with Troy Lee Designs and Honda and Lucas Oil, and man, it's awesome to see. I just like the way he rides too. I think he rides with a lot of intensity and is really aggressive. And he's definitely not scared. He's kind of one of the young guns in the class, and he's not scared to put it in on people. And as it showed last year too, I think it was even Barsha he ended up taking out at like Redbud or something. The kid just has no fear. It's fun to watch. So I'm pumped to see him run up in the top 10, and I expect him to be there, the rest of the season and creeping into the top 5 maybe every once in a while. And last year he kind of had that one moto. I can't remember exactly what race it was, but he ended up getting 3rd in one moto, which is awesome. So if he could get back up there, that'd be great for him. But I expect him to at least crack the top 5 at least once, if not more times this year. So.
Yeah, and with Malcolm, this is his first 450, right? Full season, right? Or second?
Second, I think. Last year, I think, was the first year that he 450 outdoor. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I mean, that's just impressive just to keep his he's got his feet wet already. Hopefully, they'll keep it going. Chad Reed, 10th overall, the 11th, 12th. He battled with Freddie Norton a lot. I guess that's different for him, I think, but just impressive. I mean, I think what's more impressive is Freddie Norton getting 12th overall over Reed's 10th by far.
I agree.
I mean, but we got to talk about Freddie. Freddie's been a big talk this week. A lot of people talking to him, and it's great to see it. I know Freddie pretty well, and see him getting some love out there. But he does well at Hangtown. Last year, I think he was up there, the top 15 or so. I think last year as well. So. Dan, talk about Freddie's ride. I mean, I wish I saw it in person, but other than that, I mean, just impressive what he did at Hangtown.
Yeah, he rode good. I didn't pay too much attention to him, but I did catch a little bit of his second moto, and yeah, he's a good rider. He's got that kind of he's got a little bit of Euro flow to him, which is nice. He's on the pegs a lot. I like watching the kid ride. I think most of the talk lately has been about his mechanic and his girlfriend / mechanic, and I didn't know anything about it until someone told me about it, and so I had to go out of my way to go check her out. And yeah, he's definitely got the hottest mechanic in the pits. I had no idea. So, and I guess she changes clutches and air filters, and I don't know much about her, but I was hearing things this weekend.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I had her pit boarding for me, I'd go faster too. But yeah.
That's Amy is she's been with Freddie for a couple years now, and or maybe more than that, probably at this point, and she's been wherever Freddie is, that's she's usually all the time, and and Amy's actually Richard from PA. She actually shoots photos in the area, so we've kind of bumped doubles at the races every now and then, shooting photos and stuff. So she's also a photos as well. She shot nationals last year, actually with. When I was at the time with Ally Sports, along with Matt Rice, actually was assistant to Matt Rice, that chimes in with the show. So, so they worked. So Matt and Amy worked together a lot. So there's a lot of people. Like I even heard some chatter about her, and it's like oh, she's someone said it was her wife or something. I'm like his wife. I was like no. Like something about media. She chopped point. I'm like I know all that too. So basically she's girlfriend of Freddie Norton, and also she's a photographer as well. Shoots great pictures as well. So
nice.
I think she is shooting photos at some of the rounds this year, but they're trying to fit in because she's also a mechanic at the same time at the moment. So they're looking for a mechanic, obviously, for the rounds that hopefully she'll be able to shoot pictures for and stuff. So she shoots photos for the series technically. So
that's an all-around scorer.
Yeah. So she's the perfect photo gal right now, no doubt about it. So. It's good to see. Freddie doing well, but also Amy kind of getting some press as well. So it's happy. That's awesome for him and stuff. So
that's funny. I had no idea that she was that involved in the industry. And if she's not working on his bike, she can grab the camera and help him out with his portfolio. I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah, she's everything for that. So she's definitely for sure. So now with Freddie, I mean, do we? I'm trying to think of other rounds. I mean, last year he had injury, was later half of the year or something like that really kind of affected what probably he truly would have done. Probably would have had a lower national number, things like that. So, Freddie, Dan, you saw him ride as far as you're saying how his style is. And do you think we see him probably up there more this year? I'm a big fan of Freddie. I'm a Freddie fan to the moon definitely, but I want to see him do well, but. You saw him ride. I haven't seen Freddie ride. Daytona Supercross probably. That's probably the first back I know, or maybe Dallas even. So, what's you know, what do you think for Freddie for the rest of the season? You think?
I think he looked really comfortable where he was at, and I think so. I really feel like he is right now. You know, like some guys, they get a start and then fade back, but I mean, both motos, that's kind of where he was. He was 12, 13 fastest, and in Hangtown's track, I mean, it was gnarly rough, and I think they brought in even more of that. You know, they bring in those rice holes, and it seemed like they brought in even more than that. And I talked to Tommy Week, who also was incredible this week. I talked to Tommy about that, and he said, yeah, the track was. Jumps were a little bit smaller than they have been on the past, but the choppiness was way worse than he's ever seen it, and some of the spots were really sketchy. But Noren was right where he was both motos, so I think that's where we're gonna see him this year if he races, you know, if he continues. I don't know if is he doing all the rounds that you know?
From what I know, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would expect to see him right about there. He looked comfortable. There wasn't like anybody just killing him. He wasn't fading. He looked strong. That's where I really saw him. I saw him at the end of the race, and he looked really strong because I had left and walked back out there, and he still was charging. So, yeah, I think we'll see him right in that area. Maybe even getting some top tens, and with a good start, maybe even a little further up. I mean, yeah, obviously not top 5, but a little 7th, 8th type finishes.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, I think. And I mean, Supercross, it doesn't show how, you know, he's obviously more motocross rider than Supercross. Supercross, he had okay, not great Supercross as it is, you know, but for the Swede, I think it's good enough, you know, for outdoors. That's where his, you know, everyone grows up riding outdoors, so everyone should be better outdoors sometimes, but that's sometimes not the case sometimes. So
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, awesome ride for Freddie. Hopefully, it's not the only time to talk about him because I think he deserves more, and definitely a hardworking guy. Again, been over the U.S. for a couple of years as well, so just the best for him, definitely.
He was only 6 seconds behind Chad Reed in the second moto. I mean, that's solid, and he had like 10 seconds back to Tedesco, so he was in some good company and riding solid in there.
Oh yeah, oh definitely. So that's again awesome for him, and hopefully more rounds like this happen for him. So. Josh Grant, 9th in the first moto, and his status, second moto, Chase or Dan, anybody, as far as what his injury is, or if he has an injury, he was definitely not looking good that second moto.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I didn't see anything. I didn't see anything. Dan, I haven't read anything either.
Yeah. No, I don't know what to think of Josh, and he looked. I mean, he was fast in that first moto, like I said. And I said if he got through this week and was solid, I would start to be on the Josh Grant train as a consistent contender. But he didn't look great. I mean, it's a race, and yeah, the second moto. God, I heard an injury, some kind of injury, but I completely it's spaced my mind. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with Josh, but I know he can be that top 5 guy if he can just get it figured out. But I don't know what to think about where he's at right now.
Yeah, it did seem like he was in the greatest pain. I mean, Chase, you probably saw on TV too that, you know, it seemed like he was in a lot of pain after you know, after he pulled off the track that second moto.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I like Grant. It's kind of almost been his MO, like pretty much his whole career. Like he just goes out and, you know, will just lay down just an awesome ride and then just can't put a second one together, or, you know, can't seem to just string them together. So it kind of sucks to see because, you know, it's fun seeing him up there battling like he did in the first moto at Glen Helen with, you know, Roxon and Dungey and those guys, and you know, it's just kind of a bummer to see him especially go down and potentially have an injury too. So I'm bummed for him, and I don't know. I wish him, you know, the best if he is injured, and hopefully he can get back quick. So.
Yeah, I hope so too. I hope so as well. So, you know, best of you know, to him as well. But also, Sean Collier, 14th overall. I thought 15th, 16th, 14th overall. Dan, you see him out there? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, that's an awesome ride, I think, for him.
Yeah, I watched Sean a lot, and it's cool because he keeps somehow getting that way inside gate when he's like the 13th, 14th qualifier. He seems to somehow have it figured out. He did it at Glen Helen. He did it at Hangtown. So he's got a way of, I don't know, you know, they set people up like don't go there, but he somehow gets a good gate every time. Yeah, he rode well. I'd like to see him going more. I know the guys at Fast House are helping him out getting to the races too. And I know he's got a full-time job, so anybody with a full-time job that's running nationals is all right by me. Yeah, I hope he keeps going, because I think he could be a story that kind of like Derek Anderson type deal. I think it'd be fun if they did like a maybe you could do it, Matt. Follow him and do like a Moto Life thing with Sean Collier.
Interesting. Yeah, is he doing the whole series, West Coast rounds? What's his deal?
No, as far as I know, I talked to one guy that it was more like they were getting him to Glen Helen and they got him to Hangtown, and so who knows? I mean, maybe we'll see him in Colorado this week. But from what I know, no, he wasn't going to do the whole series. But you know how that goes; it can snowball.
Yeah.
Yeah, he looks good. The bike looks good. I love his gear. His gear looks awesome. Yeah, I hope to see him in Colorado. That'd be awesome.
Nice. That'd be great. That's awesome. I mean, it's cool to see that name in the mix too. Now. So I mean, I remember him coming up as an amateur coming up in Swell, and you see him up there. I think that's awesome for him. So, going over the 450 points now. We got Roxon 90 89. A little bit of a gap now back to Kennard 72. So that's 17 points back. So, not huge gaps as we see in the 250s, but it's still early in the series though. But I think it'll be interesting to see. I mean, Chase, looking through the points, kind of making, being the major movers and shakers maybe after Thunder Valley, let's say.
It's kind of hard to – it's a tough question. Right now it's just a KTM show, so I don't really see the top two positions shaking up too much. And really, I don't know if I see the third position shaking up too much either, because I think Trey Kennard just rode great. So, it'd be awesome to see Kennard maybe get up there and maybe kind of do some battling for that second position. Oh, man, I think Medi's, maybe somebody that, maybe he wasted himself a little bit this weekend, but I think he'll be better next weekend. I could see him maybe put some points on some people. I've been impressed with Weston, too. I could see him kind of hopping up there a little bit more. And then there's Stewart, who could potentially go out and go 1-1 in Colorado. You just never know from him, so that would definitely help him out. So I'm pumped for Colorado. I mean, it's a great track, a lot of jumps and stuff, too, which I don't know if we really seen so much of the jumps the first couple rounds, but it should be good, so I'm pumped.
Yeah, I mean, talking about trying to shift gears to kind of try some track talk as far as it goes. Hangtown looked like Dan, you mentioned, as far as being than before, which to me is, I mean, I was there the year before. It was pretty tight and technical as it always is, and to hear that, it's pretty impressive. But also they added a new step-up jump, I think, as well on the track. Yeah, I think that was a cool addition. I think. What do you think about that?
That was cool because it was right on the corner there, and you just grab a handful and you're right. I mean, of course, on my 125, I wouldn't have been able to make it over it, but yeah, it was cool. But what was tough was Malcolm looked awesome because they had these huge braking bumps going up to it, and you could see like Stewart's bike or James Stewart's bike was just like dancing front end heavy and then getting up there. But it was hard because you had to get through those braking bumps and set up and go up the hill. But I wanted to talk, a little shameless plug for a Northwest guy who did really good there. It was Tommy Week. He obviously had that huge crash in the first moto, but I wanted a little shout out. I qualified 13th again, was running 13th before he crashed in the first moto. Came back in, I think, 17th in Moto 2. Might be a little wrong there, but as far as what place he got in the second moto, let's look here. But yeah, I believe, 17th in the second moto. But yeah, he would have been right there with, just under Noren, maybe 14th overall with Collier and those guys. But Tommy's been riding great, and like in qualifying, it was awesome. His mechanic put on there, must run 202. He goes out and goes 202 the next lap. Nice. And so it's just cool to see Tommy up there. He's pitting out of a Toyota. It might even be a Toyota, but just a mini truck, one bike. Anytime you see that, it's awesome. And he's running the Moto Life graphics, and just a little shout out to Tommy. He was going to be on the show this week, but he's driving right now. So unfortunately, maybe we'll get Tommy on next week.
Now, what's his plan?
Zip tying his radiators together. In the second moto after his crash. Sorry, Matt. I had to throw that out there. I thought that was pretty sick.
Hey, zip ties and duct tape when you're a privateer are your best friend.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, every time I see him post something up, he always hashtags One Bike Wonder. I just get a good kick out of that every time. So it's good to see him out there. I like Tommy.
Yeah.
Sweet. Now, Dan, what's his plans as far as the rest of the season? Are we going to see more of Tommy than in the past? Let's say, 'cause,
Yeah, I
he's
think
always
so.
popped
I
in
mean,
a
as
couple
far as I
runs,
know,
so
he's going. Yeah.
sweet. That's awesome.
I don't know how he's doing it or what. I know he's living at Washougal right now, so expect some hopefully some fireworks at Washougal. I'd like to see him do what he did. I forget what year it was, but he got 6 against, I think it was 11, passing Barsh and guys like that. So I'd love to see that. But yeah, I expect to see him in a lot of the races.
Awesome. That's awesome to hear. And I'm gonna throw my Northeast shameless plug out because we go way out with the Hangtown, and we had a good amount of riders in the 450s. I thought we had Ronnie Stewart, always in the mix as always, but he's 25th overall. Joey Peters making his first main program this year, so good to see him in the mix as well. Ronnie, him and Dakota Kessler have been pinning out the same rig, so great to see them in there. And Nick Desiderio, a rider that's been through some adversity, seems like over the last few years, just some weird illnesses and just injuries. Been a fast, rider for a lap or so, but at least to see him in the main show. I mean, he threw down. I think he threw down. Actually, no way. He got the last qualifying spot in the consolation race. So, came in the 40th mark there, and just to see him out there, getting into that. I think that was his first ever 450 national getting in at least. As far as that was really good for him. So, shouts to them definitely. Now looking forward to Thunder Valley this weekend. Press day was today. Rice would have had an update, but he's not there. He's getting there right now.
Thanks, Matt.
So he might be just watching right now. He probably just gave up on the invite. It was just like, I need to get here and get settled. And he's had some issues. He's got the box van, actually not a box van, sprinter van he's in actually broke down in Utah somewhere, which that's just with him out there. It's him and then the friend of his, Cameron Dow, is a younger kid, about 16, 17 years old. I forgot what really his age is, but he's basically him and that kid out there. So it's pretty interesting to know that he's coming back on a sprinter van like that back east. So so they had it starter went or something on it. So they had to get. I saw he sent me a picture of the tow truck, just sprinter van right on top of it. They're getting it fixed. I was like, oh man, that's
privateer style, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I told him because last year we did the series together. We did, I had my Nissan van sprinter thing, and we went across country back, and we had no issues with the van. I was like, just took mine this year, so which was funny. But I think what do we look forward? With Thunder Valley, I mean, it's a unique track. I mean, Chase, talk about some unique factors with Thunder Valley that probably won't see at the end of the national rounds.
I'd say probably the most unique would be the altitude for sure. I think that'll play a big factor with a lot of the riders just because they're not super used to it. So a rider in the 450 class, I think, has a good shot at getting up there pretty far. I think this week would be Andrew Short, kind of his hometown track. He's definitely used to that altitude. So I expect some big things from Shorty this weekend. I would put him at maybe in the top 5. So I hope so, at least, because he's such a good dude. So, and he's had some bad luck the past couple rounds. So, but yeah, definitely altitude for sure. Compared to some of the other tracks, I feel like there's a lot more, jumps and stuff with Lakewood, and so we'll see. The guys that are maybe a little bit more technical with the jumps and stuff might excel a little bit more. So we'll see this weekend, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's a facility. I mean, we'll sidetrack the Short a little bit. We didn't talk much about him. I mean, him and Nicoletti kind of getting together, and then that was kind of a highlight, or technically a low light, if you want to put it that way, for both riders out of that Hangtown race. So hopefully, Short's on home turf. I saw on Instagram he posted today. He said like best start in heaven or something like that. So he seems like he's gonna feel right at home at this race. So he's the big hometown rider coming into this one. I think he'll do well. As far as the facility goes, I think last year was my second year there, and the first year I was the year before, and just the where everything is so close. Like, it's not in the boonies. It's not like Unadilla where everybody, New Berlin, that's where the track is, but you gotta go like 45 minutes north of Utica or something to go, and hotels, things like that, where they're all at. So as far as location, facility wise, and hotels, gas, food, all that stuff. This is probably the best national for that. And I think,
And viewing and spectator viewing too.
Yeah, spectator viewing.
Yeah.
Even just me walking around the track. Shooting. I think it was. You can see so much from so many different angles. I think.
Yeah.
There. So, I think, like I said, like a facility. That national will probably never, ever, ever fall off that schedule ever, just because of its location. And they've held as nations before, so it's definitely a high quality, world class quality track, no doubt about it. And I think, Dan, it's definitely a good track.
It's awesome. I went. The first time I was ever there was for the Nations, and I remember that was the number one thing. I remember if you go to any spot over on the top of the hill there, like the big hill where they go up. If you're up there anywhere left or right, you can see the whole facility.
Yep.
From the start, as soon as they come up over the start, you can see everything. See them coming up the hill, see them going down. You might miss them through that tree section over there where that triple is coming back over there, heading back towards the start. But beyond that, you can see the whole track from just about anywhere. And that's probably the best thing. Altitude, it gives a new challenge to the riders as far as something to face, a challenge for the mechanics. I think it's a place where factory teams really are going to have a huge advantage because they can get power from it. I think that's the only bad thing is privateers are going to struggle a little bit more. A little bit less now that we're not running carburetors underneath the bikes anymore. With the electronic fuel injection, I think it takes away from some of that. But overall, I think Monster Pro Circuit won like the first 5 races there, so that's going to be different if we don't get a Monster Pro Circuit win there this year in the 450. But does anybody remember what happened to Andrew Short last year? I was looking at the results and he went like 16-18. Does anybody crickets?
Oof. No, it's not crickets. That's no crickets. It's okay.
Whenever I was there 2 years ago, he ran real well.
Yeah,
that's about all I remember.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of that too. Usually I focus on a few riders for each round that for past years, and I don't think Short was one of them. So, yeah, I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
go ahead, Dan.
He barely scored any points, so I was a little confused because I know it's his spot. But yeah, I think it's going to be a place where the guys that are in shape and can handle the elevation, and the teams that have the bike dialed in really well are going to be the people that really strive there or thrive there, shall I say, this week. Last year, Villapoto went 1-1. So yeah, he's not there, so it's wide open again.
Yeah, and I think Tomac took the win last year, I believe. So that 250 door is wide open as well. So,
oh yeah, Tomac was a beast last year. Yeah.
Yeah. So but also Cooper Webb did that was kind of his breakout route was Thunder Valley. So he likes that track.
Yes, he does.
Should be interesting to see. So should be interesting to see how he does as well. But Jerry Martin, question mark, but not at this point because he could definitely be up there as always. So. We'll kind of round out the show right now. We've pretty much covered, the track, the 450s and the 250s. Some questions coming in a little bit. Not doing too bad. We got some question about the thought doping tests that are going on or going rounds. We know any details on that as far as it goes? I know there's a whole big meeting at Glen Helen before the race or Friday before or something. So I see it as a good thing because it enforces it more. Because I hear plenty of talk about rumors about riders using this, whatever, and all that. That word's definitely around. Dan, you should probably know. The lessees have kind of been a big word of it as well. So, so I mean, Dan, what are your thoughts on the doping test, basically? I
don't know. It's one of those things where we're gonna have to see how it plays out. I like a lot of people assume that if there isn't testing, people are using it. I'm not going to point fingers at who I think is using it. I don't really have anybody. I just haven't really put much thought into it. I've just always assumed that if it's allowed, that people use it. It's performance enhancing, and motocross is the most physically demanding sport in the world. So I would assume that riders have used it in the past. I know that the penalties, from what I heard, are going to be very, very stiff, like year bans and huge fines. And I also heard that they might be, like the fines will be on they got to be on a sliding scale. You got your factory rider who makes a couple million, and your rider that pays to be there. I can't see the fines being the same. But yeah, I don't know. It's going to be one of those things where I think we're going to have to see how it plays out, who gets caught, and what the penalties are. Until then, I think it's a good thing, and I think a lot of people question just about any sport, and if someone's winning, they're cheating. It's just the way it is. So if it can eliminate that, then maybe Vital will calm down a little bit, and we'll know what's going on. But yeah, I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing too. I think, but I know, from what I've heard is they're not going after, the first year into it, they're not going to be going after people like crazy, changing the whole sport and everything.
Yeah,
else. No. They're just enforcing the rules that should be enforced, and they're open to like education as far as learning of what you should be doing, what should not you be doing. They're not just like the people in the corner just be like, oh, gotcha, that's it. They're gonna they want to make sure you're doing it right, so they're gonna tell you what they're gonna do. So it's not like some big helicopter's gonna come in, take the rider out, boom, yep, you're done for the year, things like that. There's no Black Hawk Down type situation. They're gonna just they're gonna let you know what to do, what not to do, and if you do cross that line, it should be by that time it should be done like on purpose. If you're not educated enough, that you will probably get banned or fined or whatever it is. So I think so, but the
penalties are gonna be stiff though, from what I hear, like really stiff.
I would think so too, just because, like, again, with the education, I'm hearing that they're giving these, the teams, the riders, they will know what to do and what not to do. So if they don't do it, it's going to be severe, and that's what it should be, I think. So
yeah,
with that, but as far as that goes, we'll do podium picks. I guess Bryce will be a DNF on this one, so
a DNS.
A DNS, actually, yes, that's right. Yeah, he didn't even click to get in this show, so he'll have a DNS in this one. Yeah, he's our sound engineer too. That's a bummer too. We had some good sound stuff going there. Just totally interrupting everything, and
that's arguable, but okay.
Yeah, it's all good. So, podium picks. I got some ready, but Chase. What do you think 250 and 450 for Thunder Valley?
How did we do last week?
How did we do last week? I don't have those.
Oh, let's go into it later. Don't put them on.
I'm trying to buy some more time.
Yeah, no, we'll do a quarterly thing, I guess.
Okay, all right.
We shoot every week, but hey, we're around late anyway. We're gonna get Glenn Helen in, so so we'll work the kinks. We'll work the kinks out on it. So, anyways, podium picks for 250 and 450. Chase, what do you think?
Can't bet against Jeremy Martin, so I'm gonna go with him again. Number one.
That's a shocker.
Like I was telling you guys, I wish I would have stamped him for motocross rather than supercross because I look like an idiot then, but I'd look awesome now. I got to go with Cooper Webb for second, and then I think I'm going to go with Justin Hill for third. Kind of a little bit of a different pick for third, but I think Hill's been riding really well, and he seems to do pretty well on tracks like Thunder Valley. So I'm gonna go with him for third, kind of as a little bit of a different pick. So 450s. I'm gonna go with Dungey this weekend. I think that he's gonna have a little fire under him after last weekend, and I think he's gonna come out strong. I'm going to go with Roxon for second, and I'm going to go with Barsha for third. Change it up a little bit.
That's good. I think he's done well. Barsha's done well, I think. Yeah, he did well last year at Thunder Valley. I saw him on the podium with Stewart last year, so and Dungey, that's a solid pick there, definitely. So, Dan, 2 for 50. Go for it.
Yeah, Stewart was on the podium for a moto last year, but I think he went like 3:15 or 15:3 or something like that. I know he had a bad moto.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go. I think I'm gonna agree with Chase. 250s first. I'm just gonna go Yamaha. Just Yamaha. Jeremy Martin, Cooper Webb, Christoph Porcel, and until anybody else proves that they can beat those guys. I know Bogle has, but I'm just going to go with those three. It seems like a solid pick. I'm done talking about what people did in the past. I mean, I put Baggett up front last week because of what he's done, but it just doesn't seem to matter. The present right now is Martin and Webb, I guess. And until somebody proves me differently, that's where we're at. So I got Martin, Webb, Porcel. 450, I'm going to go with Dungey. I think, like you said, Chase, I think he's going to rebound. Although Roxon has so many good memories at Colorado. I mean, with that Donations, I think his career his American career started there. But yeah, he went 1-3 in the 250s last year, so he's still going faster. But I'm going to take Dungey. I'm going to take Roxon second. And I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna put Stewart up for his first podium. He was so close this week. I think he's gonna do it. I'll put Stewart on the podium.
Not bad. Yep, those are good.
James Stewart, just not Malcolm.
Gotcha. That's good. For me, you guys know I like to change things up a lot, even under current situations. I think Jason Anderson's got a moto win coming up.
Uh-oh.
And I think he did well last year from what I remember. And, fourth in the second moto. You know, the next one behind the Yamaha. So I'm gonna go really, really ridiculously pick Anderson for a win, for the moto win at Thunder Valley. Shoot me down, I don't care. That's the way. I'm picking that because I just want to see some crazy. That's just me.
We'll let you have it.
Yeah. Just to change it up. Oh boy. Jeremy Martin, Webb, second and third, just to keep him in the top three. But it's kind of a wild. Whatever. I mean, we've seen a good example could be, 2012, I think it was Dungey Stewart were like 1-2 until Thunder Valley. Then obviously the photographer going across the track, that situation happened. Hopefully nothing like that happens again. But besides that, we can, the crazy things that happen at Thunder Valley. So
I heard all Brazilian photographers are blacklisted. I think we're good.
I don't run the show, so could be. I don't know, but
hopefully it's not Maddie. If it is anybody,
I'll that me and him will have a serious talk after that one. But
I'm just kidding.
Well, now, Dan? Are you going to Thunder Valley or no?
No.
Okay.
I am stuck home. My wife is 3 days overdue. And I'm not allowed to actually leave the house. And the fact that she's left for a half hour right now so I can do this is pretty impressive. I'm literally on the tightest leash I've ever been on in my life.
Understandable. Very understandable. Yeah, because they have this, because it's always windy there or stormy in there and stuff.
Yeah.
They got, it just pops out of my mind right now. I'm just going to say it. But they have this sign. It says, it's spelt wrong. It says severe wind, not severe wind. It's always at Thunder Valley. Every year, the last 2 years I've been there, I've just seen that sign pop up. I don't know if it's in the MX Sports truck it follows around, or if it's there at the track. I just see this one sign. It pops up to me. And seriously, it was weird. I see it 2 years in a row. Because I figured, first year, things happen. Second year, boom, same sign right there. So, kind of take. I don't know. That's just me rambling there. But still, I hope that sign's out there. All that's right there, but and also kind of goes to the track too that stormy weather has happened there and windy conditions have happened there. So I did see a couple days ago that there's going to be some threat of some weather. So inclement weather. I don't know. So, but it just where this is right at the edge of the Rocky Mountains like that crazy. It could be perfectly fine, or it could be just insane weather. You never know. Because I've seen some wicked clouds there. So that should be interesting. But,
did you make your picks yet?
450 picks. My 450. 250's done. 250's done.
Hey, there's Jason Anderson. There's your moto winner.
Jason Anderson moto win. Martin Webb second and third. I don't know. I just want to see some cool, crazy stuff happen. That's just me being a wacky moto fan. 450, we'll go with. I'm gonna go wacky because that's just me. James Stewart win. Dungey second round. That's how I'll put that. Shoot, I want to put Barsh in there, but we'll go. I'll go Stewart. What did I say? Dungey Roxon. Yeah, Stewart, Dungey Roxon. That's gonna be my picks. So, as far as that goes, I think. What's that, Dan?
I would love to see it. I would love to see anybody but the KTM's and the Star Racing Yamaha's guys wins just to start the season. Just so it's going to be a long summer if these four just keep dominating the way they are. I mean, it's going to be cool that at least there's somebody else up there with two guys on each team. But still, I want to see somebody else win.
Yeah, well, it's going to be a long summer. To me, it's a long summer until after Washougal finishes up. Then you got 3 weeks, bam, 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 right back to back. And it's like, oh crap, we gotta, make up points, things like that. So it's easy to say it's gonna be a long summer now because it's definitely gonna be a long summer, no doubt about it. But after Washougal, it's you got a 2 week break there, a week break, whatever it is for Loretta's and stuff, and then right into the Unadilla. You're gonna see riders putting in a hell of a lot of effort, to get themselves up the points. So that should be interesting.
Yeah. Are you gonna be working Loretta's this year?
Yeah, actually, I will be there. This is actually my 10th year in a row going Loretta's, so I'm feeling the vet status right now there. So, yeah, I think I'll be there for that. I just national-wise, I may be doing Muddy Creek right now at the moment, and then Budds Creek's my home national for me. So, Budds, I'll be there for that, and then Unadilla's in like another home national for me, so I'll probably be there for that one too. And other than that, I think that's it for me. So. So we'll see. I like to go to more, but got some different opportunities. Kind of been taking over those weekends now, so that's been going good.
Got to go where the money is, man.
Well, it's just keeping busy.
Yeah. I mean, Weston Pike style. I mean, Weston didn't do all the nationals last year because he had a million other things going on, but Weston made a good living just going everywhere last year.
Yeah, I think so. And Dan, what rounds are you going to?
I have no idea right now. I got to get through this pregnancy, but I'll definitely do Washougal. I'll definitely do Utah. But I want to get to a few more. I know that Chase is covering 4 or 5 for the site, and I got to get to at least 4 or 5. So we'll see what happens.
Cool. That's good. Yep. And the Chase, the 4 you're going to, 5 is pretty much. I'm around Indiana. Obviously, Indiana Nationals. Talk about the rounds you're gonna go to.
Yeah, I'm going to be at the Indiana National for sure. It's about 45 minutes away from my house. Really pumped about that. It always makes it easy to be able to sleep in your own bed and wake up that next morning and just drive up to National. So definitely stoked on that. I usually do Redbud, so I'll do that again this year. It's always a good time. The fans there are awesome, so looking really forward to that. I'm going to do Millville, I believe, this year again. Last year was my first year there, and it was a super cool track, and it was cool watching Jeremy Martin lead his first national there. He led it for about 20-ish or so minutes, so that was pretty cool to see last year, and the fans were going nuts. And then I'd like to make it to one more. I was talking with Dan. I'd really like to make it out to Washougal. I usually try to do at least a new one every year. I've never been out there before, so we'll see. I did 6 Supercrosses, so I've been trying to get around as many as possible. Definitely got a lot of things going on back home, but I'm going to try to do my best and make it to as many as possible. So that's kind of the tentative game plan right now for the summer.
I want to do Redbud for sure too. I want to meet Chase out there and go do that. But since he mentioned the Indiana National, I want to say rest in peace to Austin Mincy. I'm sure everybody out there has heard about it. 14-year-old kid died during the Loretta Lynn's Regional out there this weekend or last weekend. Thoughts, prayers out to his family. I know you can go on Facebook and look up, I think it's Prayers for Austin Mincy or something like that on Facebook, where any funeral plans, and also you can go to MotoXAddicts.com, and we have a post there too, and in the post there's a link you can go to and donate to his family. In this time, you guys, everybody out there knows it's you know, he can have all the insurance in the world. It's not going to cover what he went through. I know he was in a coma for a minute, and they had him on life support, and it was a really, really sad deal. 250B rider. So yeah, pray for Austin Mincy's family, and my thoughts and prayers are with his family.
Yeah, definitely. That's good that you brought that up. Yeah, it's just a sad situation all the way around, you know. And but that's that's the sport. You know, the sport can bite you like that, you know. And you have the moments like that where you really look back and you just gotta be appreciative that you're that the sport you're in, but also you gotta take the dangers and all that come with it. That's what makes it so exciting, you know. And and it's just that's the way it is. And prayers and everything to the Mincy family by far for now. So anyways, anything you want to add, guys? I think we're good right now as far as tonight.
Yep. Yeah,
I think I'm good.
Yeah, I mean everybody enjoyed the races this weekend. Definitely get to Thunder Valley, and yeah, thanks for stopping by. I heard we had a decent amount of people show up last week and check out the show. Yeah, the more the merrier. We are definitely going to get some riders on here to talk to us. So yeah, it should be getting better. As soon as I have this baby, I'll have more time to go out and maybe do some production.
That's all right. Yeah, take your time with that. Make sure that's all situated well, and that's definitely number important at that household right now. So, but anyways, yeah, definitely thanks for tuning in and checking out the show, everybody. We'll definitely go plan more of these, every Thursday night, 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 out west. Make sure you check out both of our sites, MXPTV.com, up the Northeast area, covering all the action as far as I've been at Speed City and Blue Diamond, kind of doing the Delaware two-step, I guess you could say.
That dude's everywhere. Matt Wozni is everywhere.
So, mostly Northeast now. So, but
he's everywhere. Don't kid you, dude. I think there's 7 of him half the time.
It could be. But no. So yeah, definitely stick around Northeast area a little bit more this summer. But also check out MXPTV.com for photos, videos, just ton of media and all that stuff like that. Also check out MotoXAddicts.com as well. A ton of content from them. They've been post-race contests we saw this week with Jeremy Martin I saw there. So I mean some good stuff there going on there. So check out them as well. And we'll wrap up the show. Show's archived every week, so you come back, check it out. If you want to watch the 1 hour and a half of us just talking about dirt bikes and nonsense ever, up to you there. So I think it's available there, and I think it's great that we have this platform to kind of share a bench racing session online, and again you guys can join in. Next week, even this week too, just get your questions in, and you got some eager questions that's on your mind. Moto or not, why not? We'll open the doors on that. We'll do our best. We're not Miss Cleo or anything, but we'll do the best we can. So, but anyways, yes. Thanks for watching, everybody, and tune in next week, Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. for more of Motocross Roundtable. So, thanks for watching.